I got a nitro curl brew. It's organic French vanilla syrup.
Okay.
Gas.
Healthy choices only, baby.
That's right. Fuel.
Fuel. Let's go.
You shake it up. All the shit's in the bottom.
Sure. What's our nutrients looking like? Other side. Flip it around again. Right. One more.
Look, yeah, it says celery, cucumber, spinach, romaine, kale, lime, parsley.
This is a once in a lifetime sight.
I'm getting my mom's son.
Got our Whole Foods Little Greens energy drink.
Got the mama some cookies.
Little, I wouldn't say grocery haul because we weren't getting groceries, but decided to pick up a little meal at Whole Foods. So,
Pickup run.
little pickup run on a little Saturday morning. We're gonna give her a go. Honestly, it's my first time eating from Whole Foods, but I heard it's super good. I mean, obviously taste wise, but good for you as well. So I got some cheesy eggs with some organic hash browns and a few of these like chicken cluster bites. So one bite, everyone knows the rules.
Out of 10. What is it?
Well, you can tell the eggs definitely weren't made from like water.
Yeah, like the fake ones.
Yeah.
Like
They're good. They are good. So I also got this plant-based energy drink. Has wheatgrass in it, pineapple, a bunch of dark greens. Not that many calories, but it makes for a great morning drink because it has 110 milligrams of caffeine. So there you can see it. Try it out. Nathan showed me this, so we'll see.
That's right.
Wow. You gotta try this.
Yeah.
Like flavorful
that
green
tastes
drink. Like
good.
I've had a lot of green drinks
Doesn't taste like
drinks in my life, but that just tastes. Yeah, you can bigger sip. Like that has
Wow.
a lot of flavor.
Wow.
That's good.
That tastes like. It tastes like.
It's like a mix of pineapple, like a little.
It tastes like a little bit of
pineapple.
tea.
Yeah, with some greens, but it's not bad at all. Highly recommend if you go to Whole Foods. It's like
It's just fuel.
it's fuel. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about my training program, a little more in depth. What that like consists of, like a weekly kind of rundown. So the reason behind the whole half marathon that I'm doing is actually it's really not that complicated. My one of my best friends, Nathan French, actually asked me to. He asked a bunch of the guys like if we wanted to do a half marathon with him down at the beach this April. And first, honestly, I was like really like hesitant about it. I didn't really know if I wanted to do it or not. Because I haven't ran in forever. The past few months, like 6 months, I've just been my focus has been weightlifting and training for size and that kind of stuff. So he asked me like, I want to say like November, around last November, and I was very skeptical at first. So I thought about it a little bit, and I I figured why not? Let's get out of our comfort zone and let's do it. So originally, here's the thing. So originally, I talked to my parents about doing the half marathon. They said it'd be an awesome idea, especially to do it with a few of my buddies. And actually, Nathan is running it with me. My other buddy, Colin, from school, is also going to be running it. And a bunch of our other friends are going to be coming down with our family, supporting us and everything. So let's talk training. So when I first decided to do this run, I had no idea where to start. I was like, do I get a coach? What training program do I want to do? I haven't run in forever. I was kind of overwhelmed at first. So I was online just looking up, training programs for half marathons. And I found a few ones that I was like, okay, these are doable. I could probably do these. So my initial idea was to complete one of these training programs that was like 12 to 16 weeks that led up to race day. So I started doing that the beginning of the new year, like January 1st. And I was like, at the same time, I was kind of figuring out what did I need for this race? So that led me actually to figuring out the training program that I am on now. I did switch programs. Initially, I was just doing just like a generic half marathon training program that I found on the internet. But now, after getting the Garmin Forerunner, which I have on my wrist right now, this is the Garmin Forerunner 245 Music, which I absolutely love. It's specifically for running, but it is also like geared towards like triathlons. Like if you're doing that kind of stuff, you can. It tracks bikes, swims, everything. It does everything, and I love it. So once I got this Garmin, I found about this thing called Garmin Connect, where download your training program online onto your Garmin. So I did that, and I found out I was looking through a bunch of coaches, and you can see like their bios and what their training program consists of. So I had a bunch of different options, and I chose one. My coach is Greg McMillan, and you can see like his background in running, endurance races, all that kind of good stuff. So this was I was like, okay, this is great. Like I can ditch my old training program that I really had no idea who it was coming from. It was just out there online. And I'm not like bashing on just like training programs online, especially if you're just starting out and you just want to get out into the field and just start running and stuff, then maybe that's for you. But I had the opportunity of working with Coach Macmillan through the Garmin, through my Garmin watch and the app. So basically, like when I got my watch, I created my profile, and when I signed up to be a runner under Coach Macmillan, they would ask you like a bunch of questions and stuff, like what's your goal, what distance are you running, by when, goal time, if you're going for completion, or if you're trying to run for a certain time. So you like input all your information, and Coach Macmillan creates a training program for you. So there's a lot of good things about the Garmin training program that I'm using, but there's also a few things that I do not like. So first, let's go through the pros of this training program. So this training program is 16 weeks, and currently as we speak, I am on week 7. So here I'm just looking at my profile, my goal time. I want to run a sub 1 hour and 40 minute half marathon, which is exactly a 7:38 minute per mile pace or lower. And so I figured I want to give myself a little leeway there. So I set my goal time as 1 hour and 38 minutes, which is a 7:29 minute per mile pace for 13.1 miles. I signed up, they asked you like how many workouts do you want to run a week, and you had options like 4, 5, or 6. So I chose 4. And the days that I run, my program is set up so that my week starts on a Monday. So I start off with a rest day. I run Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have off Friday and Saturday, which I use for recovery days. And then I have a long run on Sundays. So Sundays are my long runs. A typical week for me, so for example, this week, today is a Friday, and actually this kind of leads to one of the other things I like about Garmin is that you can reschedule runs that you just can't fit into your day, things like that. So you can reschedule, and based off of what you reschedule, my coach will rearrange my running program for me, for that specific week, which is really nice. So I don't have to worry about if I don't do a run this day, how's that going to affect the days to come. So for 4 running days a week with 2 to 3 built-in recovery days. So a typical run for me, or a week for me, is Monday off. Tuesday I will do like a easy run that's designed for this week. For example, all my paces are between 8:30 and 9:30 minute per mile. So I start off with a warm-up jog. It says warm up 5 minutes, walk or jog lightly. After that, I have a 30-minute run between 8:29 and 9:29 minute per mile at an easy pace. And then after that, I can lap or I can keep running if I feel good for another 10 minutes at the same pace. And then I have a cool down. So what I like about this program is that since it is compatible with my Garmin, my Garmin watch will tell me, okay, your warm-up starts now, 5 minutes. After that, it goes right into the run. So you don't have to manually figure it all out. It just goes right through it for you, and you just follow your watch. You don't have to memorize your run for that day, what pace and stuff. It'll tell you right on your watch, okay, now 30-minute run at this pace. Or if you're doing intervals, it's super convenient because it's for example, some of my runs, I'll do stride repeats. So I'll be doing 8 to 10 different repeats, and my Garmin watch will keep track of exactly which repeat I'm on, the pace I need to be running it at, and those kind of things. So that's one pro of the Garmin. It's super easy to use, super convenient. A lot of my beginning weeks of this program, weeks 1 through 4, they were fairly easy, so fairly simple to follow. They were just go out and you're gonna do a 20-minute run at this pace. And then as the weeks go by, obviously our pace is gonna be increasing, our distance, and I shouldn't say distance, I should say my times. So the Garmin program doesn't really go off of distance, so it's not this week you're gonna be running 10 miles total, this week you're gonna be running, it's gonna be a 20-mile week. It's more this week you're gonna be running a total of 1 hour, next week you're gonna be running a total of 3 hours. So, which I like because it kind of puts into perspective the amount of running you're gonna be needing to do on race day. So hopefully under 1 hour and 40 minutes of running that day. I'll go on a treadmill, and my intervals, I'll have a 1-minute run at 5:30 minute per mile pace, and then I'll do a 1-minute jog. That's one. And then I'll repeat that 6 times. And then after that, I'll bump down to a 30-second run, which will be at 5 minute per mile pace, or almost basically a sprint. It's fast. That's what it's meant for. It's meant to build that, meant to build that speed, work on your speed and your strides. So a lot of times my runs will include the cadence that I need to hit. For those of you who don't know what cadence is, it's basically it's measured in steps per minute. So it's how many times your feet hit the ground in 1 minute. So my cadence, it'll tell me it needs to be between 150 to 170 steps per minute in that 1-minute interval. And then once I bump down to my 30-second interval, it'll tell me my cadence needs to be around 180 to 190 steps per minute. And it's not one of those things where you're oh my gosh, I have to hit that number, so you're counting your steps in your head. It's more of as an evaluation kind of thing, where you can see after that run, okay, how did I feel? Did I feel I was sprinting and my steps are only 160? That means I'm not, my speed isn't there yet. So that's one of the things I like. Overall, I like it a lot. It tells you a lot of things. Like your coach will give you a confidence rating and how he thinks you're going to compete on race day in correspondence to how you're doing in the previous weeks. So now let's talk about the things that I don't necessarily like about this program. So first of all, I would say on the app and online, you can't see like 2 weeks ahead. You can't like prepare. So say today's a Friday. I can view all my workouts that I have, my upcoming workouts that I have, in like 1 week in advance. You can't see like next month what you're going to be doing, which I don't really like. I just kind of like to see those things, see what I'm going to have to get to, that kind of thing. 2 is that I do not have a direct relationship with my coach. I didn't really expect to, no, like just because it is, he is Coach Greg McMillan. He just this is like an online training program, so it's not really one-on-one individual, that kind of thing. But so I don't have that like direct relationship. I can't be like, okay, like I can't really ask him questions. Like he's not really easily accessible to me, and I'm not really easily accessible to him, if that makes sense. Like we just can't, like I can't tell him how I'm feeling. Like he can't give me direct like tips and advice, that kind of thing. So I kind of worked my way around that problem, and I found his actual running website, and I emailed him personally, and we've been talking through that, which has been good for me because I actually almost decided, I at one point during prep, I was hitting runs at like a minute faster of a minute per mile pace. So I was like, I'm killing these runs, like I have a little soreness afterwards, but that's expected, but I feel really good, like I shouldn't be this fast this early in the program. And I wanted to consider doing the marathon. And I told him my situation, like at school, like I'm very busy. I'm a molecular biology major with a minor in nutrition and dietetics. So I was talking to him over email for a little while, and I was like, I'm really thinking about doing the marathon, but I'm very busy. And also to put into perspective, like this is my first endurance race, the half marathon, so I kind of just wanted to see what he had to say about that situation. And he told me just to keep working through the program, and if I felt like I could handle it with my current situation, then go for it. He kind of gave me both perspectives and kind of let me decide on my own, but I just wanted his input to see what he had to say. And he basically said, like, this is also, you gotta remember, like, it's your first endurance race. My longest race to date was only a 10K. So I ended up just sticking with the half marathon, which is fine with me, because I know, like, if I'm pushing these paces, I can go for a better time in the end. That's pretty much it for my training program. My coach, Greg McMillan, super great endurance runner. I've looked up a lot about him. I love his program. There's a lot of variety, progression runs, stride repeats, tempo runs, long runs. There's everything in here, so I really like it. I can see my endurance going up, like weeks 1 through 4. I remember like running past 4 and 5 miles was like, that was my limit. Like 5 miles was like, okay, like I'm dead. Like I can't run past 5 miles. How am I gonna get past, like, how am I gonna get to 13.1 in the time that I want? But he's a certified online training coach, so he knows what he's doing, which I can really tell through his website and his program, and I really like it because I've seen like weeks 1 through 4, like I said, I found my limit, and I was like, okay, like we just got to keep working. I'm on week 7 now, and I've hit runs up to over 11 miles at race pace. I was dead after those runs, like those big long runs, like 9, 10, 11 miles. Like it's a long way to run, but go out and just run 2 miles one day, the next week run 4 miles, the next week run 6 miles. Like it's not gonna work like that. You have to work on your speed, you have to work on your stride. You have to work on your heart rate. Like keeping zone 2 and zone 3 heart rate training is super important on those long and easy runs, because that's what's going to build your respiratory system in order to handle those long runs at a higher pace. And if you don't have that foundation, it's gonna hurt in the end. And I'm excited though. I'm waiting for that 13.1. I'm so excited to complete something that I've never done before, to step outside my comfort zone, and just learn new things about myself that I didn't know. Like beginning of this prep, I would have never thought that I could run 13.1 miles. And it just goes to show, like, with hard work and staying persistent and staying determined, you know, you can accomplish these things. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up the video, you guys, in this video. Thank you for watching.
Outside, looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide.